The Murti of Maharani Rudrama Devi, you introduced her as Rani Rudrama Devi. We should probably call her with her correct title, which is Maharani Rudrama Devi.
Sure. Definitely.
So you see, the statue has been conceived with lot of thought and again based on factual information, either via the sculptures of the Kakatiyas or the inscriptions and other evidences that we have, historical evidences. Based on that, we have recreated her, because you will never see Rudrama Devi in this form. You would always see her in a horse with a knife. That is what is popular. But that's not her characteristic alone. She has a lot more to Maharani Rudrama Devi than just being a warrior. So here if you see, she is dispensing administration and justice. You can see the hand. She is giving instructions and she is administering it. Of course, she holds a knife here, indicating that she is a warrior. And you see, she's got a knife even tucked in her belt, indicating that she is there, whether in whatever state she protects herself. She doesn't need to carry a big sword, but she's always on the guard. That is the issue. Then you will see another feature is the throne itself is Simhasanam. Simha Asanam. And this Simha you can find in all Kakatiya sculptures. You go to Ramappa, you go to Fort Warangal, or you go to Thousand Pillars Temple. Anywhere you go, you would see this particular Simha. Because it's not like your regular Simha, the lion. This is Kakatiya's very typical Simha. That is why we have a Simhasanam, Simha Asanam. And then the crown that she is wearing, this is again typical of Kakatiyas. The gaps here, they used to fill it with cloth. They used to tie a cloth inside. She had a huge bun, hair bun, and they'll tuck it inside, and the cloth is to cover. On top of it, they used to have this crown. So that is how this has been conceived. And you see, she had a huge earlobes, and of course earrings, the nose ring. So these are all symbolic of those era. In that area, you won't see any sculptures in Ramappa. You would see huge earlobes. So the information has come from there. And you see above the navel, she has got all gold ornaments. But below the navel, it's all silver. Because in the Hindu belief, gold is considered Lakshmi. And Lakshmi should not be worn below the waist to insult. It will be an insult to Mahalakshmi. So the rest is all in silver, whereas the top part of it is all in gold. So that's the symbolism there. And you see her face is also, it's not like a fair Caucasian kind of a face. A very typical tribal face you see. So the idea is that we are trying to send a message that her origins are from a tribal society, Kakati tribe. In fact, before they declared themselves as sovereigns, their names were of very typical tribal names. Gundana, Prolaya, Betaya. These were the names for them. But once they became sovereigns, then they started having Sanskrit names like Mahadeva, Rudradeva, Ganapati Deva, Rudrama Devi and Pratapruta. But while the rulers had Sanskrit names, the family members still continued to have tribal names. Ganapati Deva's sisters were Mailamma and Kundamamba. Definitely it's not a Sanskrit name. So is the case with Rudrama Devi's daughters. Her daughter is Mummadamma and then Ruiyamma. So you see they continued the traditions of their tribal origins. And she was supposed to have worshipped Ekavira Devi in Mogilicherla, very close to the Warangal fort. And there she had gone to worship her in Bonalu and Batukamma. She played all that. So the origins are very, very humble for that family. And they were so inclusive that they married across all communities. Ganapati Deva gave his sisters to different castes. He married girls from different communities. So it was a very, and that too, his own daughter Rudrama Devi, he gave in marriage to Veerabhadra Chalukya, who was supposed to be a Reddy. So that's how they were very inclusive. So you see her origins is what we have depicted in this particular thing. And when her cousins invaded Warangal and occupied it, she had very few security guards with her. She just used those security guards and the support of the people. She goes and storms the fort, defeats them, chases them up to Devagiri.
Oh.
Devagiri, and then the siege of a fort would take her 6 months, 1 year. So she pushes them into the fort and then comes back. While coming back, she occupies part of their kingdom, and in what is today's Bidar, she has released an edict on a stone where she gave herself a title, Daya Gaja Kesari. Daya Gaja Kesari is indicating of her cousins who are like Gaja. Daya means in Telugu Dayadi. So her cousins who were like elephants, she is a Kesari who defeated. You see in this Murti, you have the elephants here, which are the Dayas, Daya Gajas. And on top of it is the Kesari, Daya Gaja Kesari, right? And then she is sitting on top of it in Simhasana. So that's how we have depicted her, Daya Gaja Kesari. And you see the swans here and there are swans. That indicates her knowledge level. She was extremely knowledgeable. For that particular year, 13th century, she was well versed in almost all Shastras, Artha Shastra, Niti Shastra, Danda Niti, and then Prashasana, spying and all this Gudacharya. She had knowledge of so many Shastras. She was well versed in literature, in music, and other kalalu like dance and things like that. So the swans indicate her glorious knowledge, height of her intellect. So that's how this has been conceived. Our idea is we should confine her to just being a warrior. Her persona is much bigger than just being a warrior. And we tried our best to depict some of these aspects in this Murti, and we want the public to know the greatness of this great Maharani who ruled for more than 30 years, and that record hasn't been broken till date. A woman sovereign ruler who has ruled for 30 years, nobody has broken that record. Yes, there were some Samanta female rulers who had longer reign, but they were subordinate queens or kings. But she was a sovereign. She fought something like 70 odd battles. All her life she kept on fighting, she kept on winning. So she was a great administrator, she was a great social reformer, she was a great gender justice person. We shouldn't be using these terms, but she gave a lot to the women's health. She created women's Prasuti hospitals. So such an overall great personality. We thought it's our humble offering on the platform of Lok Manthan to project her as a most idealistic person for Lok Manthan. She represents the concept of Lok Manthan. As I was telling you, she had humble origins. She was a queen, but she maintained her wisdom. Her rule was very benevolent, and she was ruthless to the enemies of the country. And when she had to choose between Vyakti Dharma and Rashtra Dharma, she chose Rashtra Dharma. So all these aspects we try to bring out in our own humble.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.